welcome to another show of Don't Get This Twisted. I am Rob, along with my co-host as always, Tina. How you doing, Tina?
I'm hanging in there, Rob. How you doing?
About the same. It's been a long time since we've communicated or put one of these things out. Sorry for everybody, but it's been hectic.
Life has been pretty crazy.
Yeah. Where we live, it's been crazy, and then the country's been crazy. We have a new president.
Which is crazy.
And his first week is now in the books. Let's see, when did we put one out last? January 9th. So quite a while ago. Wild, right? We've been in turmoil. You're in a house that is like the never-ending story. Right?
Yeah. We're still trying to get the kitchen living room remodel done. I think we pretty much got all the fires out, all the things that were just stopping construction, basically. Mm-hmm. And now we're at the point where we're getting the kitchen cabinets put in, the flooring put in, the walls are being textured. We're doing a lot of that stuff right now. But right now it looks like there's nothing done to the house. It looks like 2 empty rooms, but that's because they had to go in and change the fireplace, and all the cords that come out of the wall are now in the wall. So everything's going to look way updated by the time it gets done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you've been going through like a bunch of stuff. So it's wild. So like that's if and when this comes out and how you sound. I'm sorry if she's echoing, but she's literally in a room that has nothing in it but a chair and a table that I can see.
I'm literally in a room that, there's nothing. There's nothing in it but a couple of things of tools. And I put a table in here so that I could do some crafts because I'm trying to stay sane. Nothing else,
Yeah. So, I know, look, I did that many, 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 many years ago when I was married. We did a kitchen remodel. We did kind of what you're doing. We did a kitchen and a living room. And then we did both bathrooms, and we had like smaller bathrooms in this condo, but we had a huge living room, and we did like hardwood floor, and we took the ceiling shit off and put in lights. And then we did a whole kitchen with tile and cabinets and all that shit. And oh man, it is such a,
it's a lot. It's a lot. And
it's
the
a
patience
brain fuck.
that you need to go through this, because first of all, you have people in your house all the time that you're not used to having in the house all the time. And then, we have our kitchen table is now in the garage with clothes that are hanging and our recycles. And it's like, it's insane in the garage, but everything fits. And the guys have been really good at keeping things organized and trying between like 4 or 5 of us, we know where all of my dad's things are and we're able to get to them.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
Yeah, it's such a, it's so hard on your mind, because you're so used to coming home and doing certain things, and then this, and then it gets so disrupted. Mm-hmm. I find life when you're in that sort of thing is very difficult.
Yeah. And I'm trying not to complain. I don't know that anybody would say that I'm doing a very good job at that, but I really am trying to keep a positive attitude and try to maneuver with all the changes and go through it. But I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm failing at that. Like I'm not doing the best job that I could. But every time you go to the trash can's not in the place that it's been for the last 40 years.
Right.
We've been in this house over 40 years. It's like 47 years.
Wow.
So just going to the trash can, or in the morning I make my breakfast and I always go into the living room and sit with my dad and watch watch the news for a few minutes while I'm eating. Well, there's no couch to sit on. There's no recliner for him to sit on.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's kind of different. But again, I'm not complaining. The house is going to look amazing when it's done, and I'm grinning and bearing it, trying to make the most of it. And it's amazing because my friends who I do bitch to them about things, they even said, "Wow, Teen, you really got a different headset this time because I noticed you're really not complaining. You're just saying it'll get done. Looking forward to the outcome. It's going to be great."
Right.
But I'm not saying that I'm tired of sitting in my room on my bed every day because there's no other room to go to.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of is hard because it kind of throws my back out, sitting on the bed sideways, which,
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't watch TV, but I seem to have watched a lot of TV in the last few weeks, like
Because
trying
there's
to stay
nothing
out
else
of
to do.
everybody's way. Yeah. Yeah. I can't do my crafts because the table's got all kinds of crap on it in the garage, and it's freezing. Oh, you should talk about the weather. The weather's been freaking obnoxious.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's been
It's cold.
really cold. So going out into the garage just to grab something to drink, you got to like bundle up to go in there.
Yeah, well, because the garage floor is concrete, I'm sure, and it's
It is concrete. Yeah.
colder than a well digger's ass.
Yeah, and it's not well insulated. I mean, there is no insulation in the garage, so it's cold.
Yeah, like this morning, me and my friend down the street, we go to the gym in the morning, right? And
No, you go to the gym in the middle of the night.
well, yeah. For most people, yes, we go
Yeah.
while you're sleeping.
Yes.
So this morning, like I park and then she parks and I get in her car real quick and we bullshit for a few minutes beforehand. And we usually get out and wait for like the last 5 minutes before they open up. Yeah, not today. We literally, it clicked 4 a.m. and we got out of the car and ran in because it was cold. And
It's disgustingly cold and wet.
there's a mountain behind my house. It is very, very white with snow.
Oh, no way.
Oh yeah.
So it came down to your area.
Yeah. I'll send you a picture. It is like white snow. It's very, so you got to love how, we have technology where I can send you a picture and show you what I'm talking about.
Right. You could send it while we're talking. It's
Right.
funny. I'm sitting here and I put I could see Rob's dog right now, but I put the computer on top of a little basket thing to make it a little taller.
Mm-hmm.
And right behind my computer, my cat's like laying there, but she's eyeballing me around the corner like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
And here your dog's in your face trying to get you to play with them. It's funny.
Yeah, he's trying to sniff the microphone and get me because I just got home. So he's like, "Ooh, you're home.
We must play."
That's right. Pet me.
Yeah.
Don't ignore me.
Right.
So, but yeah. So life is very it's
Yeah.
life. I heard a very good quote today that I just thought was very poignant with everything, and it said, "There's a huge difference between life and living."
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was
very true.
Very like, because no matter what, we all live, but are we living? We all have a life, and look, we all have lots going on, and our economy's in the shitter. We have a new president, but that's not, an overnight thing to change things. Money's still tight
everywhere.
So I find it, it's hard for everybody. My boy's trying to get another job, a better one. And, he's wiggling his way into something like that. And then, but I told him, like, look, you have to understand that life's changing, like, for both of us. I also, since the last time, I don't know if it had happened or not, but I've torn a bicep, or at least I think I have. My doctor has, so I'm going to be going to an orthopedic surgeon to have them look at it and maybe have a surgery. I guess we'll see what happens. But I was kind of warning him about that. I go, look, dude, if you need to see if you can get into this job as soon as you can, because I'm going to need help. Like, and I told him, like, it's time to pay rent and be better and do things. So I just think life is, we all have a life, but I don't think we're all living it, whatever that
Mhm.
means to you. Um, there's so many things that we are missing out on, I think, because we are just lifing it, right? Your life.
Well, I notice that people are missing out on each other because there's not the big gatherings that there used to be. I've noticed, even in
Mm,
our family, everybody's
mm,
like, "Oh, we went to a funeral on Friday when my cousins passed away," and so I got to see a lot of the old family that I saw quite often when my grandparents were alive, and it was like everybody's like, "Oh, it's so good to see you." I'm like, "Yeah, but why are we doing this only when there's funerals?" Like, I know everybody says that, but truly, we were not like that. We were a family where, well, everybody gathered here at the house. So that's part of the reason that we don't have that. Our house isn't set up for guests. But it seems like since COVID, it's changed people's perception on how they need to be with family or getting together or having big groups of people. Nobody's putting the time into that anymore.
mhm. I agree, and I think it's something that's um very much missed. I mean,
I miss it. Yeah.
my family's, out of state. Um, and I hang around my friend down the street as much as I can. And thankfully her family is around. Her son lives there and her daughters and her grandkids. So it's kind of nice. I get to go over there every blue moon and like, you know, participate in that. And it gives me that fix of, having some kind of family around. Um, but I think all around the bend, you're very much right. It's not something that happens very often anymore.
Mm-mm.
And for a lot of reasons, I think that one of them is that COVID kind of shut us in and made us antisocial. I think a lot of it also is the polarization of politics. And now
Mhm.
people who would definitely get together for family things, regardless of their belief systems, used to. And we used to like jab each
Well,
other, right?
people
Like,
used to be able to have a different set of opinions. Now, if you don't have the same exact opinion, you're kind of the outcast.
yeah. And look, I mean, I could throw stones and say it's one side of that. I mean, there's an argument for, I think, both sides, but
Hmm.
I think one side is generally very decisive and like, if you voted for the orange man, I'll never be your friend again. Never,
Yeah,
never.
he definitely put a wedge in between people,
Yeah.
and that
And
was
look,
his last pregnancy,
presidency,
his last
pregnancy.
presidency.
Yeah. Uh, and this one is, I think, going to be even more decisive.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that look, there's some crazy shit going on out there. If politically, I don't know if I try not to watch the news.
I don't
Um,
watch it.
but if you TikTok or Instagram, there's things that'll come across things like some guy in Congress is trying to let him have a third term, which I think is insanely wrong,
Let who
right?
have a third term?
Trump, they're
Yeah,
trying
no.
to pass a bill that will give him a third term. Um, which I think's wrong. I'm not a fan of that.
There's a
Uh,
reason that we have terms on presidencies,
right. And we can thank George Washington for that
right?
if you're not a history buff, but even he knew in his first presidency that you shouldn't be a king. And I don't think that's what Trump's doing. I don't think that truly, I don't think he'll want to do a third term. This is going to, it, the first one didn't age him. I think this one's going to age him because he's got a lot to
I
do.
think the first one aged him too.
I
He
mean,
was
I think
just
it
old and
did.
ugly when he started, though.
Right. But I mean, but he doesn't, I thought he got out of the first term and he still looked like Trump. You know
Mhm,
what I mean? Like, look at all the other ones. Bill Clinton looks like he's aged 4,000 years. Obama's like almost totally gray, so much that
mhm.
he keeps it so short that you can't see his hair. Um, Bush looks okay, but aged. look, the presidency does that to you. It's just a fact. You're going through a lot of crazy things that are going
It's
on in the
also
world.
4 years. It's like if you look at a person for 4 years, you're going to see age. It's going to happen. And I always tell people that, like, you don't think you age in 4 years? Go back and look at your pictures from 4 years ago to now. You have aged as well. Because I know
Very
people
true.
talk about that a lot.
But I definitely think that that's probably why you don't see a lot of gatherings. People are just so ho-hum about like not being like, I've seen people that are just like, won't be your friend anymore. It's like, okay.
Oh, that happened a lot.
Yeah. And, and over a lot of things, COVID was one of them. I mean, people were turning each other's people in, and a very bizarre time in our lifetime. The last, 10 years, the last 5 years for sure. But
Right. My one of my best friends, we hardly ever have a difference of opinion. But when it comes to politics, when it comes to Trump, when it comes to like COVID, we really had a difficult time because we didn't see eye to eye. And fortunately, she didn't hold it against me and I didn't hold it against her. And we're still really good friends. But I was like, this is somebody I never fight with. This is crazy that we're having disagreements over stuff, just
right.
sides.
I think that a lot of things change. Like my best friend, who's in San Diego, I would say my friend down the street would be my female best friend, or more my best friend now, just because I talk to her more. But my male best friend, you know who he is, and I've known him since I was 13. He was a conservative Republican.
Yeah.
Even he turned on Trump. He's like, oh, and blah blah blah. And then, so it was kind of funny to me. And he was like, he said something to me one time, and this was way back. And he's like, oh, he's a racist and this and all these crazy things. And I was like, bro, I made more money during those 4 years than I have in my whole life. And he was like, is money more important than these things? I go, yeah. I'm sorry, but that's keeps food on the table and my rent paid, and the economy is important. And this is why he got in for another 4 years, because
the economy was sliding.
These last 4 years before this were shitty, and eggs are not in abundance, and bacon is like $7 or $9 a pound. Like, we can't live like that. So,
well, everything we eat is contaminated with something else. That's part of it too.
oh yeah. I mean, if we want to get into deep conspiracy theories or the crazy shit they put in our food, it's pretty bad stuff, like borderline poisoning us. So, life right now, I think, is just, it's an uphill battle for a lot of us. Just to pay the bills. It's rough. And I'm, I'm doing all right, but I'm still paycheck to paycheck. I'm just paycheck to paycheck with a little bit in the bank. You know what I mean? And I think that that's all of us right now. Even my kid, who had an abundance of money because he saved up a bunch, but then he had to get like a car repair, and then he had to do this, and then he had to do that. And he's like, my savings isn't there anymore. Yeah. Welcome to adulthood. Being an adult sucks. We got scammed.
I've told everybody for years not to grow up. Nobody freaking listens.
Oh yeah. It's a scam. It's a total scam. If I could go back and be, get another run at childhood, I would do it in a second. It was easy. The junior high and high school years, as crazy as they were, like, having to know people and be popular and do this and do that. Fuck, the easiest years of your life. So easy. Just,
it was easy in comparison to what we're doing now, and in comparison to raising children and being married, having jobs, mortgages and all that. It's way easier.
Yeah, it's way easier. So, I mean, there's no, I don't know if there's a short-term fix for this, obviously, what we're all going through. If he can fix the economy, which is going to take some moving around of things, maybe in a year we should be in a better place, I think.
Think
Um,
so?
I did hear something today where he literally, and this is no joke, and you can look it up because I saw some of the footage of it. He was talking about no income tax and having everything paid with tariffs on things coming into the country, which I guess was done in the 1800s. There was a president who was known, he was called the Tariff King, and there was no income tax. There was a state tax, which, okay, we're good, but there was no income tax. And
Wouldn't that be nice?
do you know, yes, do you know what
Because
people will
seriously,
make?
they take so much
So
freaking
much.
money from
Yeah.
everybody.
I think last year, I just got my W-2. I think I paid almost 10 grand in income tax.
Hmm.
So could you imagine getting, let's say it's half of that. If everyone got another $5,000 a year, what it would do to your life.
It would help.
So it would, yeah, for some people, it would be life saving.
Hmm.
For some people, it would put you above water where you could have your fucking neck out and at least breathe in,
Right?
And uh, look, whether you like what he says or not, we had 4 good years well, 3 good. COVID started during that, and that kind of put the kebab on that one. I just think that whoever is the president and after him, because there's going to be somebody else after him, obviously, um, has to look at us like a business. Because if,
Do something.
yeah, and look, don't get me wrong, there's foreign affairs and there's a lot of stuff that people have to go through, and I don't want to like shit on that. But putting money back in Americans' pockets is everything. We'll all be better off. We'll all spend more money. We'll all be happy. We'll live a little high on the hog, you know. And then businesses like what we do, um,
Might sustain themselves.
yes, you know what I mean? Like I am in the electronics business where we sell things. So bad economies aren't good for us. And you are in the hair business, which is, you know, people will go to a box of dye instead of having it done for real.
Well, shit, just having fires around, I didn't have any business. Like it completely cut business to nothing, and I was going nuts because I
See,
just
that's
needed to
rough.
be busy. Yeah.
So where I live, there was no fires. I mean, there was,
Hmm.
but they were tiny and they got put out in a day or two. You're kind of in the wash of all of that horrible shit.
I called it the ring of fire because there was literally fire all the way around us, but
Yeah.
not close enough to do anything to us. But it did scare everybody. Everybody that lives on the outer parts of the city was definitely worried and being evacuated multiple times. And a lot of people that I know lost their houses.
I know one person that I used to work with lost their house.
Yeah.
Um, which is crazy because I know, who would have ever thought that you could say that in a lifetime? I know. So I don't know what year that was when I was living out in Camarillo when the fire in Ventura, when it was LA, Ventura, Santa Clarita, that ring of fire was like what, 5 or 8 years ago. I know someone who lost their house in that one. So I never thought I could go to somebody and go, oh yeah, I know multiple people that have lost homes in fires.
Hmm.
That's, I mean, sort of bonkers, like,
And you know what was weird about this one was, so I do hair. So a good majority of our clientele is older because they get their hair done once a week.
hmm,
And two of my clients who have lost their husbands and are living at their houses by themselves and taking care of things well. They're doing all right. We're so scared, and it was so sad to see how broken they were just because of the fires and how close they got to their houses and how they were like, this is all I have and I'm not going to have this anymore if something happens. And I tried to stay really close with both of them and calling them to make sure they didn't need to be evacuated because it would have been me to go up and grab them and bring them down because, they're afraid of driving or they don't drive in the dark or they were afraid because of the fires being so close. And I just felt the need to stay really close. And yet I was thinking, that could be me one day, not being married, being on my own, and
Sure.
having something like that happen. And I would hope that my family or whomever would check on me and whatnot, but
Mm.
they have family and you were still very alone. And I hated seeing that. So I kind of made extra time just to check in and to calm them down because it was so scary and it was so close.
Right.
It was a big ordeal.
I think the more older we get,
The more scary things become.
yeah, and look, we're all independent to a degree, right?
Hmm.
Like taking help is very difficult.
Right.
Um, for some people, it's an impossible task, and I'm sure she'd hate me for saying it, but my friend down the street hates it because she feels like she owes you something. Um, and I try to talk her off the ledge every time with me because I'm to the point now where I don't care what she says. Like I'm
Hmm.
going to help you, and that's just because that's who I am, and and I never want anything in return. Um, thankfully for me, she's a lot better now. And look, she helps me in other ways. Like I joke with it. Like she'll ask me over for dinner. Or last night she called me and said, "Hey, I made some soup. If you bring over some Tupperware, you can take some home." So I ran down there and filled shit up and brought it home, and that's what I had for lunch today. So,
Hmm.
but I think relationships, like you're talking like that, or with her, or I have other friends. I never look at that kind of stuff as transactional. Unfortunately, a lot of people do, and I think that's where um she's like she gets that from. It feels like it's a transactional thing, or someone in her past has brought it up to where like I've done this for you. Um, I've helped her with stuff that literally I've told her, don't ever bring that up to me ever again.
Hmm.
What's done is done, and I don't care. And so I remember one time she sort of like in passing brought it up, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Well, you know," and I don't remember.
You pulled that on her.
Yeah, because I don't care. Like once it's done, and whatever it is great, and I'm glad I can help. I because I'm around, and I'm also have a lot of time. And if I have time, I'm going to help you. It's like if I don't have the time, I'm not one to go. I will be there anyway because if I don't, I don't. But
Hmm.
I have a lot of time, and it's great that I can help people, and I feel for anyone that I can, if I can do it, I'll do it. Um, but yeah, when you're in a situation like that where I mean, I couldn't imagine having just a few minutes, or let's say even an hour to empty things in your house. Where do you go to what's important? Like to me, furniture never important. Leave that shit behind. There's like for me,
Right.
I would grab computers because there's information that I would need. Um, I would, selfishly, I would probably grab my podcast stuff so I can continue to do this because after a fire, if I lost something, I would have to have something to keep me sane. And then I
Yes.
would grab like clothes, guns, my photo stuff, and my dog, my kid.
Hmm.
That there's nothing else here that's important. You know, clothes only because you have to be able to clothe yourself.
Hmm.
um, but really, like beds are replaceable, furniture's replaceable, TVs are replaceable. I wouldn't
Absolutely.
think about things like that. Um, and look,
There's like a short list of things you should have: your important documents,
yeah,
your computer, your medicine, stuff to brush your teeth and
mhm.
and to stay clean, your clothes, pictures.
Yeah,
But
some things you
all
can't
that, all
replace.
that, that yeah, all that you should just have in an area where it's there, and you could just pick it up and roll with it. If you only got 5 minutes,
That's
You better know where all that shit is and have it in a location. Not everything, because you can't put everything in the same place. But I mean, you got to know where it is so that you could grab and go.
yeah. Uh, I was over um helping my friend down the street with her pool filter one day, and she goes, "Oh yeah, you got to see this thing." And she has a bug out bag, which we should all sort of have. So she takes this thing out, and it's a backpack, and jokingly, like, she can pick it up, but even she kind of said, she goes, "This thing's heavy," and I was like, "Oh yeah," and I picked it up, and I was like, "What the hell is in this thing?" And she started unzipping all these things, and it was awesome. I mean, she's in the medical industry, so it had everything you need if you got hurt, like stitches and scissors and every band-aid size you can think of, and like a med kit and all these things. And then she had like uh she has one of those things that you can vacuum seal shit, like one of those things. She had like vacuum sealed almonds and beef jerky and like all this. And then in my head, I was like, I have a bug out bag, but not like that. And I'm like, now I'm starting to think like, okay, she bought me for Christmas, she bought this little medical kit for me, which is awesome. Um, and it's so funny because she was like, I didn't know what to get you. And for me, I had like a boner because like I'm into that kind of stuff. That's survival shit that we all need. So now I'm like, okay, I'm going to also get a bag, kind of like she had. Probably, I'm not sure if I want a backpack style. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to start building like a legitimate bug out bag, something that would have my documents in it, that can pick up one bag that has, food, ammunition, gun, something that I could hand to somebody else and go, put this in the car. We got to go. And it has like our birth certificates and our social security cards and things that, are very important long run. Because now I think, yeah, as I get older, you really have to have something that you can just pick up and bail, because life is crazy. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm sure the people in Pacific Palisades didn't think half of their city would be decimated, gone.
Or Altadena, where 9/10 of it was.
Yeah. I drove past Altadena the other day. I was going to get my hair cut. And look, like I said, I'm kind of spoiled. I wasn't around fires this year. And I say that because California, we burn every year.
Mhm.
Um, but I was driving to Simi Valley out there, and I forgot. So I'm driving, and all of a sudden it smelled like I was in a fire. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm right next to Altadena. And it was pungent, and the fires were still going. So I don't know. I haven't checked right now. We had a pretty nice couple of days of storm. I don't know if it rained where you were.
It poured.
So I'm assuming that probably helped these fires, if not put them out, significantly helped the
Mhm.
firefighters. So I heard the one in Castaic was horrible. There's like,
Really?
oh yeah, like the last I saw, it was like 10,000 acres were burned. Now, I don't know how many, I don't think a lot of houses, but so I think in general, you look at us, you look at North Carolina with the hurricanes that decimated them, you know, we really need, we really need to get back to knowing your neighbor and, and, you know, really being more community driven.
Mhm.
I don't know how we're going to get there, but um, I think I definitely think there's something that we can do. I don't know how we're going to get there. Like I said, I think things are just so polarized, very difficult for people to want to know their neighbors.
That's
Um,
so true. So
yeah,
true.
it's, I mean,
But
and look,
the funny thing is, the fire did bring a lot of people together because people had to be evacuated. People needed help. Neighbors were calling on the elderly and saying, let's go, let's get out. So there are those moments of grace that you see through going through all the tragedy that the fires brought on. But It's just not enough. It's not bringing people together. And all these people are not going to be neighbors anymore, which is sad, So the ones that did know each other, they're not going to be with their neighbors.
Correct. So here's a little update for you. This since we're on here, I looked up on Cal Fire just to see where the incidents were. So Palisades is at 96% contained. The Eaton Fire, which is La Cañada and or over there in Altadena, is 99. And the Hughes Fire, which is the one in Castaic, is also 99. So rain definitely probably
there
helped
was
these
so
people.
much rain. You said you didn't get any. We had
Oh no, I got
tons
some.
of rain.
It wasn't. I got more constant rain, like, but it wasn't like. And then there was obviously I got a lot of night rain. I don't know if you got a lot of night rain.
We did.
So there was a couple of nights where like I'm sitting over by the window and it was coming down pretty good. But I slept through a lot of those storms. So
yeah.
But it's I just think that in general, I think the rule of thumb should be try we need to try to fix our country. And I know that's like the most difficult thing we can do right now because we're so divided. Like,
so how do you say we do
that? It's going to be difficult because I just think that the views on both sides, and now with social media and being able to put your point out to the world and argue with everyone. If you want to argue, it's not hard. It's just it's easy to argue with people now because you can just
everyone.
and now I don't know. I think we're going to see what happens over the next year. A lot of there's so much diversity between people, right? And like the DEI, where all these things that we're hiring people for being a certain, checking a certain box is going to go away.
How do you think that's going to go? You think it's going to be better, or you think it's going to get worse?
Short term, probably really worse, like a really bad. But look, if we're changing the planet based on merit, right? You should be doing that. I think if I don't want the pilot of my airplane to be the hire they got hired because they were a certain race. I want the best pilot flying my airplane, regardless of what color he is or she or them or whatever the fuck it is. The best should always get hired, period. Now we can argue, that's going to hurt because of schooling in certain places and, that sort of thing. But I also think we need to fix the school system
badly.
So, I think we're going to be arguing until we're all blue in the face. Really, I think we should just, if you don't agree, great. I don't care. I have lots of liberal friends that I'm sure, and I'm pretty vocal about what I believe in. And then I'm on here, so like people know. But like I don't care. I'll look. We can agree to disagree. That's just the world, and I think that. And if you're sitting in your house, upset at the world or upset at your neighbor, and that's all you're worried about, you are really barking up the wrong tree in life.
And I could give two shits. Your whole life.
I'd rather go down, pick up my girlfriend, have a meal, go home and watch some entertainment on the TV and not have to worry about anything on the fucking news. All I care is our checks are getting in the bank, all the bills are getting paid, and our freedoms are not being taken away.
There you go.
I think that's the bigger thing. I hate to be the guy that says love it or leave it because a lot of people get pissed at that. But if you don't like this country, and I mean like for real, don't like it. If you don't like who's in power, that's a whole nother thing because there's plenty of years I didn't like the people who were in power.
Oh my God, I still am waiting for somebody that I like.
But I love the country I live in because
Hmm.
the Constitution is a great paper. And I know I love when people say it's too old, but you know that half the constitutions on this planet were all taken from that. So
Yep.
um, we have freedom, more freedom than most countries. Even though we don't have what we should really have, we give the government way too much control.
Way too much
Um,
control. And way
the
too much of
government,
our money, too.
yeah. Well, we're pawns. We're just we're worker bees.
Hmm.
But I think you have to try to find the happy in life, whatever that is for you.
That's
And
exactly it.
and I'd rather not argue with people anymore. I'm becoming more and more of, I don't want to say a hermit, but definitely I can. My friend down the street said something that I loved. Just unpeople. It was at work one day and she goes, "Yeah, I think I'm going to go at lunch and unpeople." And I was like, "Unpeople? That's the greatest statement I've ever heard."
You've always been kind of an unpeopler, though.
Mm-hmm. As much as I can talk to people and I can put on the mask when I have to,
Hmm.
I would prefer to unpeople.
You unpeopled the shit out of me until you couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. But that's when I
Mm.
was young. Like now, like I said, I can get in front of people and you can take me anywhere and I can put a mask on and I can really kind of let it ride.
Hmm.
But inside my head, a lot of the time, I'm like, okay, let's do this shit and get out of here. And I, I was trying to tell my friend on the street one time about like doing things together because um, I would like to do more things with her. And we were talking one day and I said, look, my best social um, entertainment is very small group in the backyard having a barbecue,
Hmm.
like no more than 10 people, you know, intimate, more so where when you're talking with each other, you're not talking over each other. And most people are together. And I like it really small, but I could live like that forever. I prefer that. I prefer a very close friend group, um, very family oriented, but very tight and very small.
Hmm.
I can go to Disneyland. I can have a good day at Disneyland, but I prefer smaller groups.
I get you.
And I think that once we
Excuse me.
start doing that again, I think that's important. I think the backyard barbecue needs to really find its
Make
way
a
back
comeback.
because I think that, again, when we were young, there were lots of people at a backyard barbecue that did not agree with each other politically, but no one talked about it because they were
No,
too
they just
busy
talked about
talking
other
about,
things.
yeah, they were too busy talking about how are the kids? They're playing baseball. Did you see the game? How's work? The first thing out of someone's mouth was like, "Do you believe in this?" Like people didn't do that. Tight families did that when we were young.
Hmm.
You
I
know,
I come from that family.
yeah. Oh, I remember going to barbecues with my aunts and uncles and my mom and
Hmm.
dad and hearing that in the background. But here's the difference: they told me to go play with my cousins.
Hmm.
Like it wasn't. And then I would go to my cousins and we'd play, if you can believe this, like on a computer that was like a green screen or we would talk about just like what's going on
Or go outside and play.
right. But I mean,
Throw a
even as
ball around.
teenagers, we would just talk about like, how's junior high? What's going
Hmm.
on? Where, whatever. Because, and funny thing is all my cousins were girls. So like I was in kind of like, I
Mm.
was the only boy. So it was always kind of go and hang out with the cousins, but we would talk nonsense.
Hmm.
So I just think that, the world in general, it's upside down. And I think we all know that. And it's going to be an interesting 4 years for sure. And look, uh, we're all going to have ups and downs and things we don't like and things we do like and whatever. To me, it's like this: if you're a conservative and you've had issues with your liberal friends over the last 4 years, I would tell you, if you feel like you get a win, don't rub it in anyone's face. Be
Hmm.
better than them. Um, and that's just me because I know a lot of liberals who do like to, put it in your mug. I just don't have time for that anymore. I just want to live a little simpler life, um,
Agreed.
with people that I enjoy time with,
Hmm.
because we've talked about this on this many times. We're running out of it. And I'd rather spend the next 25 years of 30 years of my life with good people doing good things and loving people that I love. And, um,
I think
mhm,
also too, it's all a mindset. Like, there's a reason I don't watch the news, and that's because it makes me bitter and anxious. So I don't watch the news. What I do is I go and I'm creative and I make things, or I go and have lunch with my friends, or I spend time with people that I need to spend time with because they're not going to be here forever.
mhm,
And I work on doing that. Like in in the last like few months, like my car, I was rear-ended. I've had several friends pass away, 3 clients pass away, a couple of cousins pass away. Um, the fires that killed business, and then the rain, and all the stuff that's been going on. So people canceled and did everything, but it's like I still find a way to do something that makes me happy, and I believe that if we let happy win, over all the bad stuff, it'll start to change the way things are moving in this world. And it takes all of us doing it, like finding what makes us happy, finding what brings us peace and joy. We need to be doing that more. When we were during COVID, we were so busy up until COVID, we didn't have time for shit. Everything shut down, and we were forced to be with our family. We were forced to look at ourselves. We were forced to take care of things that we neglected. We pulled it in. Everybody's houses are looking better, and the kids and stuff had their parents around more, and that was good. There was a lot of divorces and stuff like that, but that's another story.
mhm.
But getting back to the swing of things, we've now gotten to the point where we're so crazy busy now again that we're right back where we started. So what did we learn? We didn't learn a damn thing. So we have to get back to the happy. We need to get back to and I'm not very religious, but I think everybody needs to get back to prayer and finding their faith and getting hope again. Like, there's just things that when it's all shitty and it's all said and done, that you could turn to these things and have this train of thought that keeps you sane. And I don't see a lot of people doing that. I do that. I think I'm doing it more than ever.
Yeah, I'll go down that road. Well, I probably in the last 9 months, I've probably prayed more than I have in my whole life.
Hmm.
you just, you, I think that sometimes you have to find the things that make you happy, whatever that is.
You always have to.
And I got sent a
You
video
can't let the
today.
negative. You cannot let the negative win.
Uh, I got sent a video today. It was some guy was on Rogan's podcast, and my friend down the street sent it to me. It was very another thing where the guy goes, "The more you talk about your problems, your mind throws that in front of everything else, and
Mm.
you're continuously thinking of your problems even while you're sleeping. So your brain is doing it. Your anxiety levels are going up. So the thing is talk about the good. Like, there's going to be bad. You can't get away from it, but just don't bring it up all the time. Don't talk about it all the time. Don't and and the more you talk about the good things or how you want things to change, or your body and mind will start doing that on its own. It's pretty interesting, and I think I'm doing my best. And look, I have my days just like everybody else where you just go, fuck, like, why am I here? Why are we doing this? Like, uh
What's the point?
yeah, you question everything. Like, fuck, like, really? Like, why are we here? And then there's days where I go, wow, this is why we're here. You see your friends, you see someone you like, you talk to your family, and you go, ah, this is this is what life's about. And it could be something as simple as a phone call to your parent, because I only have, one left. It could be sitting on a couch with a friend that you like, that having a drink, talking about life. And it could be as simple as sending memes to each other all day to give you a giggle, because that's what gets you through the day. I, I'm going to do my best this year. And look, January has been a 72-day month. It's been a rough one already. I'm, I told my friend down the street, I just can't wait until the new year. And then fucking January came and I was like, this is like a trial offer. Let's get to February and see what we can do.
The, the the real reality of it is it's a calendar day. It's not. There's nothing that changes from one day to the next.
Correct.
It's all still a continuous thing. So whenever people say, "I can't wait for the new year," and I'm like, "So you could be screwed over again," but now you're noticing it more because this was supposed to be your year.
Right.
Again, it's find your balance. And in this world with Mother Nature, everything's about balance. So find your balance, find your happy, and then go with that. And whatever attitude you put work into is the one that you're going to manifest. So make it be a happy one.
And do things while you can.
Absolutely.
Whatever that is for you.
I'm a big believer in that because I don't like to miss anything. So I'm in it.
My friend down the street has been bugging me. I didn't go see my mom. COVID, she couldn't breathe. There's a lot of things. And I wanted to go see my dad late last year, but something kind of came up where I couldn't. So he lives in a cold state and I don't do snow. I can't drive in it. I don't, like I'm a California boy. But probably I think come May, I'm going to get on a plane and go see him.
So book your tickets now, Rob, so that you do that.
Well, and not only that, it'll be cheap as shit. Like,
when I go to El Paso, when I go to El Paso, as soon as they say I want you here, I'm like, well, let's figure it out. What are the dates? And I book it right then.
I saw a flight to where he lives, round trip. It was $310.
So what are you waiting for?
Yeah. I just need to book it. I just need to make sure with them that they're going to be, I need to make sure they're going to be home because they leave, they travel. But that's my thing.
Call them now so that you book it for $310. You can't beat it.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back and even if it's just been, 4 or 5 days there, just to kind of to see him. So
I've always said you won't get that time back.
I don't want to miss out. If my dad would happen to pass away, I would be very upset that I didn't go back and see him one more time. So that's on my bucket list. And she keeps, she's very good at reminding me of things like that. You're going to go see your dad, right? You're going to go see your dad, right? You're going to go see your dad.
I'll help her because I think that's important for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Look, we'll try to get back to some kind of subject matter on this, but the world is just so upside down.
This is subject matter, though. This is real time. What's going on?
Yeah, no, I know, but we're pretty good at putting subjects together and breaking them down. But I just thought that, I'm sure that the next couple of weeks they might be like this, where we're just bullshitting about what's really going on. And look, your life is upside down. There's been reasons that you're very good at not forgetting, Tina, and this thing with your house has put you in a spiral. And it was funny because I remember I'd text you and you're like, I totally forgot. Like, okay, next week. And I'm just as guilty because now I'm just like, all right, whatever. And look, we're pretty good, but I know life is
This
life
has been kicking my ass. It has. But that's no excuse, and I'll get it together. That's what I told you last week. I said, I promise you I will be here this week. And I made sure I stayed home all day. And I had my stuff set up, and I'm out in the living area. Well, there's no living right now, but we're in the area that will be the kitchen living area where everybody's going to be when this is all over. So I thought I'm going to come out here because I'm tired of being in my bedroom and I wanted to sit up, and there's no chairs in my room. So this has been kind of cool. I mean, I'm sorry for the echo, and I'm sorry for the missing things because that is not me to, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And
Yeah.
lately, I called my friend the other day. I said, I missed lunch, didn't I? She's like, yeah, you did. I'm like, it's not like me. She goes, are you okay? Do you need anything? And I'm like, yeah, I need my life in
Mm-hmm.
order. And I'm the only one that could fix that. So we're getting there.
My friend down the street said something to me one day that kind of hit me hard. She goes, I just want you to know, Rob, I'm very tired, but I'm not sleepy. And I was like, yeah, I get that. She's very active, very like, go get him, go. And she told me today, she goes, Sunday, I just slept all day. As
I did the same thing on
she goes,
Saturday.
she goes, I fight to get out of bed every day. Like, so I think it's not just her, it's a lot of people.
I think the best thing I started doing was taking a bunch of vitamins because I was starting to have that, like, why am I thinking this way and why? But then I realized I didn't feel good. So I started taking vitamins and that has helped. And it does help my attitude. And well, I'm always fighting against like, well, I could tell you what's really going on, but can we just have fun? Because I'd rather do that.
Right.
So,
Me too.
but the vitamins are helping.
I
And I think vitamin D we all need.
I take the maximum amount you can. I take 5,000 units a day.
Yeah, I was taking 10,000 a day because I was so depleted.
Yeah.
Now I'm at like 5,000. I take 5,000 one day and then 250 the next.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Yeah,
But
I have a
it
deficiency.
helps. Yeah.
I have to say, I'll send you a picture. I ordered a vitamin holder off Amazon. I had one and I started adding things. So it started not fitting. So
Me too.
all I typed in was extra large vitamin holder. I didn't look at what the dimensions were. I go, hey, that looks like it'll at least fit a few more than, and I got it. And I'm not joking. It's 14 inches long. And it's like by like 3 inches wide. They must hold, each side because it has like a morning and night. They probably hold on each side probably 15 different vitamins.
Wow.
So it's like it's huge. Now that I got it, it's awesome because I'm starting to add certain things, newer vitamins to it. I'm going to be probably taking like 25 vitamins a day, but
I'm up
I
to
take
18.
I take like zinc and there's a few. I take quite a few, like cinnamon and a couple other things.
Nice.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think that look, as we're getting older, we have to try to take care of ourselves. And vitamins have been helping me for sure. Like magnesium is amazing. Everyone should take magnesium.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good for you. And I think that, look, exercise is big. And I read something. We follow a doctor on Instagram, and he talks about like before you take any kind of drink in the morning, you should have water and salt because your body needs that. And it's pretty amazing. So
Water, not just with any salt either. They
no, there's a certain salt.
The Celtic or the Celtic sea salt.
Yeah. I just get it and I put my down the street. She gave me some and I just lick my finger and stick my finger in it and put it in my mouth and let it break it down. But yeah, so and exercise. Look, the best thing I've done is go to the gym every morning. I know it's super difficult for people and it's hard. It's still hard, and we've been doing it since June, May.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to get there at 4 a.m. And there's days where me and her fight it, and she'll text me and like, I'm not going to make it today. And I go, okay. And then some days I go back to sleep, and some days I get my ass to the gym and still go. So it's a fight, and it's going to be a fight forever. But I feel way better, and I just find myself, a little more active and wanting to do things.
You're just finding you're happy.
I'm trying, darling. There's still a few more things I want to do, but we'll get there. It's just slow. There's a slow pace for some things and a fast pace for others, and you just got to know when to hit them.
Absolutely.
All righty. Anything for the end of this hour-long episode? See, we're catching up. We're catching up. We're
Right?
gonna
We
have
haven't talked in a while, so here it is.
right. We're gonna do an extra 15 minutes for the next 4 weeks so we catch up.
Now, just do your best to be happy and not let things get to you. I think that's just a good way to be.
Yeah. Live a good life. Don't stay away from social media as much as you can. Stay away from the news and just be good to the people around you. That's my thing.
I agree.
You can check us out pretty much anywhere you can hear a podcast. Share. And I know people have been when we put out an episode, and we're going to get back on track. I promise.
I promise.
And yeah, share with all your friends. We're on social media, but like I said, I think things might change now. I might not get banned as much. Yeah, I've been banned a couple times for putting stuff up.
Stupid.
But yeah, look, it's an opinion show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday. We're going to get this road going, and yeah, have a good night, and we'll see you in a week. Bye.
See ya.